Joy, you know how I'm always in awe of some of the guests we meet. Now I'm in awe of Jorge Garcia.
Yeah, well, this kind of puts a whole new spin on dinner, you know?
Or, by the way, Jorge, she mentioned that she thought she was going to be interviewing a magician this morning. So
yes, because I was like,
tricks
okay,
ready,
you're going to pull out some doves.
Yeah,
and
but it's not going to happen. Jorge Garcia lives in Glen Carbon, Illinois, but works here in St. Louis at Boeing, and he has run in over 60 marathons, and he has run in a marathon in every state in this nation of ours, including Alaska. I assume it's 50 states.
Alaska and Hawaii?
Correct. We
Really?
did. Yes, we
What,
did.
do you just like on your bucket list to get every state?
It sure was actually. I was running just for fun, and then I at a start line I saw a runner with a 50-state marathon shirt, and I asked them the question. In fact, I went up to them and congratulated them for running a marathon in every state, and the guy said, "Oh God, no, I have not ran a marathon in every state. That would be crazy." And I thought, well, maybe I should do that
Because it is crazy.
But he told me that it took 10 states. It took running a marathon in 10 states in order to join the club. So I thought, so my goal was to run a marathon in 10 different
And
states.
you just never
So,
stop.
we talked
Yes.
about this off camera because I was like, this running thing, it's too extreme. And, I see kids throwing up when they get out and passing out and like, what's that? Is this back in the gladiator days? Why do we have to be that extreme about stuff? But you said that they're just not training right or something?
I've seen kids where they vomit or maybe they're having a lot of issues during the run, or especially at the end of a marathon when they
Yeah.
sprint towards the finish line. Sometimes I think, I personally never had to vomit after a run or during a run, but I noticed I've had the feeling before when I'm doing some kind of speed work or necessarily, I think people who are vomiting is probably because they either training too hard, overtraining, perhaps they're trying to run a pace that they're normally not accustomed to running. I've had the honor to help a lot of runners train, and a lot of times we do speed work, which is a day in which we select to run at a pace that is normally faster than the pace that we're going to run during the race. And it is at those times that we're running faster, and you do feel like you're going to vomit, but fortunately, I haven't been in that situation.
So
and then when you're not running, do you feel like, oh, I wish I was running? Like, do you have that like
is there an
adrenaline
addiction?
kind of?
Yes, Joy. I running has been my savior. It's my solitude. I love running. If I feel stressed out, if I feel like I need to get away, if I need to spend some time with my mom, which is I lost my mom when I was a young kid.
And that's what we were going to get into.
Okay, and I go out there and I'm alone with my thoughts. Just this morning, I went out for a run. I feel like I need to be out there and to clear my mind, and it gives me an opportunity to be refreshed, and quite frankly, I feel great throughout the rest of the day.
I think this is what surfers do, because surfers are like that. They have to get up and go surfing before they go to work.
They smoke more pot.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I heard the waves are better in the morning.
Yeah. Your name is Jorge O. Garcia. J-O-G. Jog. Was this destiny or what?
Perhaps it was. I think it was a blessing in disguise, I guess.
So tell me about your mom, because I just heard a little thing of that. Your mom died when you were young. She was murdered or something?
Yes, she was, unfortunately. My father, from Guatemala, he came to the States illegally and met my mom.
Is she from Guatemala also?
Yeah, she's also from Guatemala, but she was already living in North New Jersey, which is where I was born at. And from there, my dad married my mom, and then my brother and I were born. But it wasn't until my mom and my dad's second life was discovered. He was married with 2 kids in Guatemala.
Oh.
And when that family from Guatemala came to the United States and found out that her husband was married with two other kids, my father unfortunately decided that he needed to eliminate one family.
Oh, my.
My father was working at a factory at the time where they manufactured tools and knives. So he made an axe, and he sharpened the axe, and he planned the murder. And on September 17th, he murdered my mom.
And you were 8 years old.
I was 8 years old.
You weren't there, were you?
No, but however, so he hit.
Sorry, God, how horrible.
I think we all have tough breaks.
Yes,
but
not like that.
He stabbed her in the chest and then struck her in the head. So
how much has running played a role in helping you deal with this? I mean, there is a connection here, right?
Oh, definitely. It's been my whole life. Running has been my whole life, but I credit the running basically when I joined the Marines. Living in North New Jersey, you do a lot of running.
You're running anyway, yeah.
Right, you're not doing a lot of running for fun.
You're running for a taxi.
You're running for something, you know.
You're away from.
But but I remember growing up, and you go through custody battles and prison visits and adoption. There was a lot of stuff that a lot of people in my life, they helped me. We spent some time in the streets. We spent some time in different apartments. I was in 4 different high schools in my 4 years.
A few minutes ago, you mentioned when I'm with my mother. Do you mean like when you're running, you're with your mother?
And connect with her?
Yes. Thanks for asking. I'm always with my mom. I feel like she's my biggest fan. Mm-hmm. When I run a marathon, or even if I'm just training, I run with a picture of my mom. And every time I need strength or I need a little bit of push, I look at her. I always look up to heaven. I know she's there. I'm probably one of the crazy runners who's talking while I'm running because I know I'm talking to her. There's a lot of happy tears. And even now, I'm getting kind of teary-eyed because I think of my mom, and I know she's watching over me. But there's a lot.
That's wonderful. And you have become quite an inspiration for others, as well as you are running for others. Tell us about that.
Yes. 2.5 years ago, I found a Facebook group called I Run For. And this organization matches runners with buddies. Kind of like when I was in college, I actually spent almost 8 years with Big Brothers Big Sisters. Mm-hmm. And to this day, I'm still friends with that family. A great experience. So this is kind of the same thing, but it's kind of running. So I was matched up with the little princess.
So funny. It's kind of running.
So I was matched up with the little princess. Her name is Nevaeh, which is heaven backwards. This little girl, she's battling... She's 9 years old, and she's battling autism. Beautiful young lady. I finally got to meet her. She lives in Winter Haven, Florida. So this past June, when my 2 little girls got out of school, we did a trip to Florida, and we got to meet her for the first time. But before this, every time I run a race, whether it's a 5K, 10K, half, a full marathon, I also run with a picture of her.
Runner's World, which is like the Rolling Stone of runners.
Yes.
Is going to devote a cover when in December
issue, yes,
to somebody who deserves it, and you are a nominee for that. You are in the finals, the running for that at this time, right?
On May 14th, I submitted my entry to be on the cover of the Runner's World magazine. It was through a lot of encouragements through friends of mine throughout the whole country where I've been running at, because I'm not good about promoting myself or trying to brag about myself. So it took me 2 weeks to finally submit my entry, but I did, and I'm glad I did, because it has given me the opportunity to share my story and hopefully inspire others. I mean, many people have come to me and been open about their stories, so it's been very humbling, to say the least, very overwhelming too. So on the 27th, this past 27th, they narrowed the field down to the top 100 semifinalists, and fortunately, we were part of that 100 semifinalists. So now, here on the 19th, they're going to select the top 10 finalists. And on the 24th, they will announce 2 winners, a male and a female, to be on the cover of the magazine. So just to be in the top 100 is
what
awesome.
What an amazing honor.
Yeah.
We are showing on the screen where you can go if you do want to vote for it. So.
Okay, well, thank you.
And we have till when? Till the 19th?
To the 19th.
Till the 19th.
Yeah,
and everybody can vote? Anybody?
Yeah, and
anybody can vote.
I think only counts for like 10% of...
yes, thank you, Ron. Voting is 10% of the judging criteria. Right. And I guess they want to make sure that the winners, the 2 winners, are a good fit for their magazine.
Sure, yeah. Right.
Because,
they should have that say.
Right, because the nature of a contest, the voting... It becomes a popularity contest. But there's a lot of great entries.
I can imagine.
People dealing with Special Olympics or brain surgeries or cancer, or military folks with missing limbs. So, and I have a special place in my heart, a warm place for military personnel, because
you were a Marine.
Yes, I was in the Marines for 4 years, but I've seen a lot of stuff in the Marines, and I've seen a lot of great soldiers fight for our country, and it's just overwhelming. And again, it gives me teary-eyed because I've lost a lot of my friends, and even my best friend from the Marines passed away as well. So when I think of the Marines, by the way, Semper Fi, I think of all the great military personnel that have served, and that's something else, Ron, that I like to do is when I run also. I like to run with the United States flag, our Old Glory, and I enjoyed running with the flag because it gives me a great feeling. I'm very proud to be an American, and I love to share that feeling with others.
Well, Jorge, thank you for sharing it with us.
Pleasure.
We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you, Joy. I really appreciate it. Thank you so
Jorge.
much.
And thanks to Abusi Michelli Insurance, continuously working to provide the individual coverage you require. They're our sponsor making this segment possible. They handle commercial, life, and health insurance as well. Contact Tina Michelli at 314-832-6667.